AITA for laughing at the idea of my stepson becoming my daughter's guardian if my wife and I unexpectedly passed. I have been married to my wife, Denise, for 5 years now. She has a son, Michael, who is 18. We get along pretty well. He's a good kid with a great head on his shoulders. This past year, my wife and I welcomed our first biological child together, Sarah. We're going through the process of updating our wills, which means choosing guardians in the event that both of us died. When Michael was younger, Denise had her parents listed, but they're now older and in no condition to take care of a baby. We asked my sister and her husband, they agreed. We were explaining some things to Michael that came along with the will. Insurance goes to him if we both pass, what he'd inherit, etc. We also explained that there was an account set up for him to get his own apartment once he finished college. He's currently a freshman, should we both pass by then. Unlikely, but all bases covered sort of thing. Michael then asked what would happen to Sarah. We told him our guardian choices. Michael straightened up and said that no, he would take on Sarah. I said that was very sweet, but he was still very young. Maybe we'd consider updating it in 10 or so years when he's older and more established. My wife said we'd think about it. In private, I asked if she was seriously considering it. She pointed out that Michael spends a lot of time with her, is a good kid, etc. and is volunteering. I said I wouldn't feel comfortable putting the fate of our daughter in the hands of a young adult. I said if Denise was changing her Minden, my sister and brother-in-law, that was completely fine, but to me, Michael is not an option and it should be a 2 yes, 1 no wins situation. She asked if it would really be so mad for Michael to become guardian and I laughed. Why lies? Michael is volunteering. He has no real clue what would come with being a parent. As I said, in 10 years, when he's more established and an adult, I'd consider it. For now, it needs to be someone else. Denise isn't upset that I don't want Michael to bait a guardian, but she is upset over how dismissive I'm being and that I laughed at her. She says that I'm being hurtful and offensive to both her and her son. AITA? Edit. I am not changing my mind on making him guardian. Please stick to the judgment I asked about. AITA for only wanting vegetarian food for my wedding even though my fiancé loves meat? I, 22F, and my fiancé, 24M, are getting married later this year. We come from different cultural backgrounds. He is a white American Christian and I am South Indian Hindu. We are combining aspects of both our cultures for the wedding and having 2 ceremonies on the same day with a reception dinner. My fiancé loves meat and TBH I do too. But South Indian Hindu weddings need to fall on auspicious days and meat is a big no-no. My fiancé thinks our non-Indian guests who are not familiar with the culture will think we are being cheap by doing vegetarian food and not having alcohol. He's okay with no alcohol though. I disagree since our food will be very nice. Traditional South Indian wedding meals have a huge array of dishes that are served endlessly on a banana leaf plate, and we will have Western desserts following the dinner. My fiancé and his parents, brother all enjoy vegetarian Indian food, so I'm not sure what the problem is. My fiancé thinks we should also include non-vegetarian Indian food, but that would offend my entire family and plainly be sacrilegious. My family eats meat, but like Catholics on Lent Fridays, we don't eat meat on auspicious days like weddings. Am I the AmItheAsshole for insisting on vegetarian food? Also, any ideas on compromises to suggest? Edit. I spoke with my fiancé as well as his parents and we decided that it would be best to have vegetarian American options available in addition to the Indian food. And I mentioned this in the comments already, but just to reiterate, his family asked for no alcohol first. His parents convinced him that not having meat won't make us look cheap, especially since we are going all out with floral sand desserts and entertainment. Edit 2. I am currently speaking with the owner of 4 venue and seeing if we can have the venue for 2 days instead of just 1. He's a family friend and will prioritize giving us a reservation if at all possible. If we can have 2 days, then none of this stuff will be an issue and we can have meat, not beef though, and my family would be fine paying for it on the Christian ceremony day. Edit 3. Since many people want to call me out for saying my instead of our wedding, let me explain the reasoning behind my choice of pronoun. I am speaking to you, this subreddit, and that is why I say my and not our. Of course, if I am in the company of my fiancé, I would say our. My correct grammar does not have seem hidden subconscious meaning. AITA for not taking my wife's possible abortion seriously? Edit. The word is miscarriage. My bad. English is not my first language. Edit 2. Thanks to everyone for your insightful comments. Due to the quick reaction of this sub, I was able to apologize quickly and effectively. It told her I was deeply in the wrong, and now we're good again, and she is sharing her emotions and thoughts with me. I'm being more supportive. I don't fully understand it, and I can't help that, but I don't have to understand it. I just have to behave appropriately. Thanks everyone. I accept the verdict. Throwaway for obvious reasons. My wife, F28, is approximately 6 weeks pregnant with our second child. We had our first child 3 years ago with no issues whatsoever after about a month of trying to become pregnant. This second pregnancy has also been without issues related to conceiving, as she became pregnant less than 2 months after we stopped using protection. Today, she called me M29 during the day because she is bleeding, and it could be an involuntary abortion. She is very upset, and I told her not to stress about it. If it's a miscarriage, then it's a miscarriage. I told her to call the doctor's office and to rest and take it easy. Maybe it's not even bad news? I know it's perfectly natural to have an involuntary abortion before week 12, and we both know that we generally don't have a problem conceiving. If we were unlucky this time, ID's okay, it's not a disaster, we will just try again. My wife didn't like this reaction at all. She was upset by my reaction and hung up on me. I'm currently studying for the bar exam, which I'm taking later this week, and I'm using most of the week with my study group. I picked up our daughter from daycare at the end of the workday and came home, and my wife is angry with me for not taking her miscarriage seriously enough. I told her I'm really sorry, and that I understand that it's not easy to go through. I'm trying to comfort her, but she won't let me be a part of it, because she says I don't care. I do care, but I'm also stressed out about the bar exam, and I know it's perfectly natural to have a miscarriage. I'm not stressed that we will have any trouble becoming pregnant again. Of course the situation makes me sad, but I accept reality, and at the same time I'm stressed the UCK out with other obligations. I want to comfort her within reason, and now she won't let me. WIBTA if I brought my own food to a vegan dinner party? So I've been invited to a vegan household for a dinner party. Of the total people going, 6 of 9 aren't vegans. Anytime a meal is hosted elsewhere, we have 2 meals, one vegan and one not, so everyone can enjoy what they like. Not here though, this is a strictly vegan household. No cooking meat products on the BBQ. No cheese, no eggs, no fish. I get not wanting to cook meat on their barbecue. I have an entire section of my grill sectioned off for vegan, gluten-free cooking. I found out what they are making for everyone one. I'm allergic to mushrooms, and they know it, and their main course is a portobello steak. It feels on purpose. I would feel disrespected as a host if a guest brought their own food to my dinner party. Then again, I try really hard to make sure everyone has options for them at mine. So WIBTA if I brought a George Foreman and some burgers to cook up outside? AITA for ruining precious childhood memories? I wanted to pour a new walkway from the end of our driveway, which terminates in our front yard by the sidewalk, around the house to our backyard, where we have a nice little garden and gazebo set up. There are a lot of kids and stroller moms and dads in our neighborhood. Some children saw the wet concrete drying and stuffed sticks and rocks into it and some carved their initials in as well, along with their palm prints. Well, I was not thrilled. I dug out the debris, then smoothed the concrete back over and put up a sign reading, "Please do not disturb drying." A mom I'm usually friendly with, we've walked our dogs alongside each other, said I was a mean old curmudgeon who was ruining precious childhood memories for the kids, who may want to go back and look at their initials and palm prints one day and reminisce. Someone else took my sign down, I noticed, the next day. It was lying in my yard by the bird bath, far away from where I'd placed it. Am I really the asshole for this? It's my private property. These aren't my kids. AITA for not allowing my nephew at my wedding? My fiancé and I are getting married in July. We have expressed to all our guests that we wish to have an adults-only wedding and asked our guests to make arrangements. Please find a babysitter, if they have children. We have several reasons. We have to keep the guest count under 50, or else 2 of our most expensive vendors both double their prices. Also, small children cause distractions. Simply put, we know lots of people allow children at their wedding, and that's okay. We just don't prefer children at ours. Not one of our friends had any opposition to this rule. All of them consider it nice to have a break from their kids for an afternoon and were more than happy to get a babysitter. They all agreed with us that weddings aren't kid-friendly and it's just less complicated for everyone to find a babysitter. The only person giving us a hard time is my sister-in-law. She has what we feel is a very unhealthy relationship with her 3-year-old son. She has coddled him to the point that he screams if she leaves the room. He has to be with his mom every second, or he gets physically sick. She has that baby attached to her hip so badly that she will not allow anyone except family members to watch him, and those family members are all attending my wedding. Her and my brother are trying to guilt trip us into letting them bring my nephew to the wedding. They feel like because they are family, they are a unique circumstance and deserve a pass. We have set a boundary, and we feel like the right thing to do is enforce that boundary. To make matters worse, they have got my mother toe-side with them and call me to plead their case for them. I explained to her last night that if she brings him, she will not be fully present at our wedding. She won't be able to dance with my brother, who is my best man. And if I give in, it will be unfair to all our other guests. I have accepted that my sister-in-law will not be at my wedding. And by refusing to hire a babysitter, that is the choice she is making. I am standing my ground and saying no. It's my wedding, I paid for the whole thing. I set the date, the location, and the flavor of the cake. If I say no kids, I want no kids. Am I the soul?